We've actually done more Batman projects than we have Iron Man projects. Why Batman? Well, Batman's one of those relatable superheroes.
Nice car. You should see my other one.
I mean, not the billionaire part.
I'm buying this hotel.
But the fact that he's just a mere mortal using technology to be a superhero, which is why we decided to make Batman's Gadgets. To be Batman, you need a Batarang, his most iconic gadget. So we started with the Batman Dark Knight Batarang, and this was a ton of fun. Step one, we need a Batman logo. Now we want something that's sleek and aerodynamic. We want to be able to really pierce through something like, I don't know, drywall or human flesh. We can actually trace the object and turn it into a vector file, which can then be used by the laser cutter to cut out our Batarang.
Looking for an easy way to earn passive income? Look no further than Honeygain. Honeygain is an app that once downloaded, runs as a background task on your device and shares your unused internet connection to gather little bits of information from the web, allowing you to make money from it. A lot of trustworthy businesses require access to public web data for things like price information to find the best deals, or simply to see if there's websites that are selling fake goods that you want to avoid. You can look at Honeygain as the Google of web monitoring for companies. You might have even benefited from it yourself without even realizing. Now, this won't pay for your next trip or a fancy new outfit, but millions of users have already benefited from Honeygain by paying for the Netflix subscription or in-game currency. And to be clear, Honeygain does not share any of your personal information, just what you already don't use from your data plan. Don't wait any longer and use my code Hacksmith to get your first $5, or download the app using the link in the description below to start your passive income journey.
And more recently, we actually did an awesome collaboration with Jerry Saval, where we recreated every Batman Batarang from comics, movies, video games, and TV shows.
Wow, that's a lot of Batarangs.
3, 2, 1.
Ooh! That was nice.
Oh yeah.
That's some serious
That's about
penetration.
an inch and a half penetration.
3, 2, 1, go!
How did you hit that?
After the Batarangs, almost 5 years ago now, we started working on one of our most functional Batman projects, and that was his rappelling hook. And it's really cool how this works. It's actually a 4-bar linkage that opens up. You can connect it to, say, a gas pipe or anything else, and when you pull, it actually gets tighter. Now you can rappel off the side of the building, and when you relieve tension, the spring opens it back up and it falls back down. So one of the nice things about the belaying hook is, yeah, it can hook onto any kind of rod or dowel like that, but you can also use it to stab into something. So let me show you what I mean by that. So, because of the design, I've made it so it's rather pointy here and here, which means you can actually grab onto something like a truss, and as you pull, it actually tightens and stabs right into the wood. And as you can see, now it's not going anywhere, and I can actually pull myself up on it. Let's try throwing it. But the question is, how are we actually going to hang off of this rope? There's no way you can hold on to this like a normal rope. You'll just slip and get rope burn, or maybe even cut off your fingers. And the first thing that came to mind is a gree-gree. A gree-gree is used in rock climbing, and it's the belaying device. And basically how it works is it uses a series of levers and dowels to basically bend the rope to increase the friction so it locks in place. The cool part is we've added all these dowel pins, and what that means is we can vary the friction very easily, because we can decide how many loops we want to go around the dowel pins, which can change the friction zone. The other big change with this design is that when the rope passes through the end part, it actually pinches at the back and in the other spot. So I'm gonna pass this off to Ian now to do the first tests, because I'm off to powder coat our grappling hooks, matte black. They're gonna look awesome.
Started working, but I double stringed it.
So Ian just finished machining the new aluminum part for the lever, because when we were testing the very first one made out of plastic, it broke and we had to replace it with this little bolt. It didn't work so well. So we've got this aluminum one now. Let's put it back together and see if it does the trick. So as you can see from those last test videos, the design finally works. Now you might notice silver. Silver is not really Batman's style. So we're gonna go ahead and go get this powder coated black. I'm gonna flare out two of the wings like I was saying earlier, so that the grappling hook has a bit more angle on it so it can catch pretty much anything you throw it at. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna clamp it in the vise and wail on it with a hammer. Go for about a 45-degree angle. Alright, so as you can see, we kind of have the wings sticking out on an angle now, which means when you throw this as a grappling hook, it has a better chance of actually hooking onto something. So for the first step of powder coating, we're going to have to sandblast the part. So we're going to use a sandblaster here to really rough up the surface finish of the metal so the powder really sticks to it. Alright, so the powder coating process is actually pretty simple. The powder coat is actually finely powdered plastic. And what happens is the gun applies a positive charge to the powder. And then we've got that little electrode attached to the actual part, which is negatively charged. So then when you spray the powder on the part, it actually sticks to the part because of the electrostatic charge. So let's assemble the grappling hook, and then we'll be ready for the big test.
Let's do this.
Now while this works great for getting down from high places, how about getting back up? Alright, here's the completed launcher. The launcher itself uses expanding gases to fire the projectile. And we've also added a tack rail on the top so we can fit it with a laser sight. Alright, so we're going to test the grappling hook by shooting through a dry wall. Alright, one more test inside, but then we need to take it outside to really test it to its limits. We found this perfect building to test out the grappling hook. Let's take a look. All right, so there are random holes in the floor. Yeah, people definitely came in here a lot to spray paint stuff. All right, so that worked fantastic. I can't believe how well this grappling hook gun worked. We were able to get it into the window and over the entire roof. Now we can't exactly climb this rope, and that's not really Batman's style either. So we're gonna have to build some kind of ascension device that can take us up this rope. This is our prototype 8 horsepower electric ascension device, which will allow us to scale buildings at Batman-like speeds. During this test, we were only using one of the 2 motors at 25% throttle, and had no problem lifting Ian. Now this is one of our most complex projects yet, and we've designed almost everything from the ground up. In fact, if we were to outsource all the parts we need to manufacture, it would probably cost us several $1,000s. But luckily, we have a PCNC 440 milling machine which allows us to make almost everything in-house. For this grappling hook ascension device, we're actually using 2 brushless DC motors from Hobby King, and they're rated for 2.5 kilowatts each. That's almost 4 horsepower per motor, which means this entire thing is around 8 horsepower, which is crazy. Think how big an 8 horsepower gasoline engine is compared to how small this is. So the 2 motors are actually run in parallel, and there's a timing belt to make sure they don't offset from each other, and they're both driven by 2 marine grade ESCs that support both forward and reverse, because we want to be able to ascend and descend using this. Now, the actual mechanism is hidden under here, and as you saw when we were building it, it's actually 2 sets of worm gears with spur gears attached. Now the reason a worm gear is super useful for this application is it can't be back driven. That means if the motor power dies, the rope won't slip, because you literally can't turn a worm gear using a spur gear. You can only turn the spur gear using the worm gear, like in this animation shown. And you can see it just spits out the rope the other side. Now, if we do the opposite, and as you can see, it goes back the other way. Let's do a quick test by pulling the Baja. Basically, when we were testing it just there and it was slipping a bit, that's because we're still using a 3D printed part here, which really can't take, so it running around the spool like that is just destroying the 3D printed part. So we're gonna get another one made of either aluminum or Delrin like the original spool, and then the system should work exactly as designed. Our first test is here at Grand River Rocks, because we got nice crash mats and safety ropes. All right, first test with a safety line. Not bad. I want to show you guys what I've been working on for the past year. I've been really passionate about building products for Hacksmith.store, and especially our new line of Hacksmith tools. It's given me the chance to really spend the time to engineer some amazing quality products, and I'm super excited about our new Mini Saber Gen 2. It's a fully custom Mini Saber that I designed that has all the best features from our first one and some significant improvements. It has a larger butane tank with almost 3 times the volume of the original. It's got full metal construction. It's modeled after the original Guinness World Record plasma proto lightsaber that we made. And my favorite part, the flame color changers. The best part is all sales go towards our full-size lightsaber development. These are available for pre-order on Hacksmith.store right now. Unfortunately, I dislocated my shoulder during the last project, so I'm passing the bat mantle to Ian.
I'm Batman.
I'm Batman. Now, after that project, we actually started working on our very first vehicle project here at Hacksmith Industries, and that was our Batman Baja. Basically, we were trying to make a mini Batman tumbler, and it was actually our first partnership with Accelerated Systems, Inc. Anyway, the Batman Baja was a ton of fun. It was super fast, pretty powerful, and we added a bunch of cool gadgets. Now, when we bought it, it was in pretty rough shape. All the bolts were loose, and most of the parts were in boxes, so we started putting it back together. The Baja is coming along awesome. We've got the frame completely painted now, the motor's almost ready to be mounted, and we even have a seat. So the team's been hard at work, and the Baja is almost ready for its first test drive. As you can see, we can just turn it on with this switch here, and you turn on the little speedometer on the main computer. Everything Batman is a lie. And no, I'm not talking about how an average rich boy with no superpowers somehow manages to hold his own in a Justice League full of actual superheroes. I'm talking about the bat signal, the famous giant spotlight that Commissioner Gordon uses to summon Batman. Also, what happens if they need Batman during the day? Anyway, why is it a lie? Well, it simply would never, ever work. At least, not in the way it's been portrayed so far. It's simply just not how projectors actually work. But that's what Make It Real is all about. We take those crazy ideas from comics and make it real. So let's figure out how we can make a real working bat signal.
First, we're gonna need a cloudy night in order to project the image onto something.
Fear.
Imagine you're at the drive-in theater, enjoying your favorite movie, but there's no screen. Could you make out the image through these rays of light projected into the sky? No, didn't think so. The second reason our spotlight setup doesn't work is because light is very complicated. Different light sources behave in different ways. Take your run-of-the-mill light bulb here. It radiates light in all directions. We want light to be focused in one uniform direction. So again, you might think, spotlight, right? Well, obviously it's not that easy. As you can see, we have our flashlight and Batman logo on stands. Even with the Batman logo in front of the flashlight, we still don't get a projected image onto the screen. We just need one thing to make this work. A lens. Not just any lens, a convex lens. So if we just take this lens and put it in front of our light source, voila, we have a projected Batman logo on the screen. However, this distance is very specific. If I move this Batman logo anywhere else, it fades and disappears. That begs the question, how does this lens actually work? The curvature of the convex lens bends light coming out of it. We call this refraction. This light bends differently depending on how far away from the center of the lens we are, where it bends barely at the middle and more significantly at the edge. All this refracted light converges at one point on the other side of the lens. We call this the focal point. If we look at our setup, we can actually see this happening in real time. If I take my hand and put it right in that focal point, I can make the bat signal disappear entirely. Even if we take the Batman logo and put it right on the lens, just like in the movies, we still don't get a projected image on the screen. If we put something at the focal point, but on the other side of the lens, with a light source behind it, we should be able to project a bat signal into the sky. We just have to make sure our light source is powerful enough to project that image into the night sky. To put that in perspective, this is gonna be brighter than our world's brightest flashlight. It's so bright, jeez. Oh, and one more thing. Our Batman logo is upside down. And that's due to how convex lenses flip images. I have a simple solution for this though. Perfect.
It's going to be consisting of 4 different parts. The parts are going to be the barrel, which is going to house all of our symbols, all of our lenses, that sort of thing. The second part is going to be our base. It's going to have some arms onto it so we can swivel up and down. So the third part is going to be the electronics box, which we have underneath. So that's going to hold all the LED drivers that we have. And finally, we're going to have the actual stars of the show, which are going to be the LED blocks. So I'm using that same sort of similar design for each one, and I'm putting 4 on there with 4 individual cooling systems and hopefully a much better cooling operation so we can run this for a real long time.
Three, 2, 1, go!
Oh my God!
One of the most iconic parts of the new bat signal is the cool louver design they have, which is actually pretty tricky to make, but we've managed to design a laser cut pattern that should do the trick. Oh, that looks awesome. Woo! Yeah, it's missing something. The thing that it doesn't actually need.
Now I gotta make sure it works.
Hacksmith! Uh-oh. Any idea why we don't have the Batman logo on the wall? Because that's not where the projected image comes from. Can you see the Hacksmith symbol right there? That's what's actually creating the symbol on the wall.
Why didn't you put it in there?
That's just how it works. It's a unique property of light and all the lenses we got in there. So you can actually put anything in front of this, and as long as you don't cover it completely, you are reducing the brightness a bit. The other challenge is we want to focus it like a kilometer in the sky or something. So the blue LEDs will actually change to red when it gets too hot. So we added it in as a protective system if we leave it on for too long. Yep, we turn the light off and we let the cold liquid cool the LEDs. That's a pretty advanced question. Let's take this outside and see what it can really do.
Confirmed that it works, which is really awesome.
Great success!
Great success. So now we're gonna go terrorize. I mean, we're gonna go shine it outside.
Share the bat signal with the world.
Yeah.
That's better.
Okay,
Yeah, look at that! Batman! Is that too bright? All I can see is bright white.
What do you guys think of the bat signal that we've made here?
I think it's pretty cool.
We made it real. That was so good right now. Look at that. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe here, ring the bell to be notified when we launch a new video, and be sure to let us know what you think by leaving a comment below. And if you want to catch our latest content as soon as it's available, head on over to our main English YouTube channel and subscribe there as well. On that channel, you can listen to a bunch of different languages by clicking the gear icon below the video to change the audio track to your preferred language. We'll see you next time.